ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं मवामहे कविं कवीनाम् उपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पद आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजे विद्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रेवतौ महासरस्वत्यै नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मिन् गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। देवीं वाचमजनयन्त देवाः तां विश्वरूपा पशवो वदन्ति सा नो मन्दिरेषु मूर्जन्दुहाना धेनुर्वागस्मान् प्रतिष्ठितैतु व्यासं वसिष्ठदप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकदातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मत्श्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रीललितामहात्रिपुरसुन्दरी समेत श्रीचन्द्रमौळीश्वराय नमः। श्रीकाञ्चीकामकोटिपीठाधिपतिगुरु श्रीशङ्कराचार्य श्रीचरणयोः प्रणामाः। स्वस्ति श्रीमदखिलभूमण्डलालङ्कारत्रयस्त्रिंशत्कोटिदेवता सेवित श्रीकामाक्षी देवी सनाथ श्रीमदेकाम्रनाथ श्रीमहादेवी सनाथ श्रीहस्तगिरिनाथ साक्षात्कार परमाधिष्ठान सत्यव्रतनामाङ्कित काञ्ची दिव्यक्षेत्रे शारदामणसुस्थितानाम् अतिलुतसुधारसमाधुर्य कमलादनकामिनी धम्मिल्लसम्फुल्लमल्लिका मालिका निष्यन्दमकरन्दझरी सौवस्तिकवाङ्निकुम्भ विजृम्भणानन्दतुन्दिलतिमनीषिमण्डलानाम् अनवरताद्वैतविद्याविनोदरसिकानां निरन्तरालङ्कृतीकृतशान्तिदान्तिभूम्नां सकलभुवनचक्रप्रतिष्ठापक श्रीचक्रप्रतिष्ठाविख्यात यशोऽलङ्कृतानां निखिलपाषण्डषण्डकण्टकोद्घाटनेन विशदीकृतवेदवेदान्तमार्ग षण्मदप्रतिष्ठापकाचार्याणां श्रीमत्परमहंसपरिव्राजकाचार्यवर्य श्रीजगद्गुरु श्रीमच्छङ्करभगवत्पादाचार्याणाम् अधिष्ठाने सिंहासनाभिषिक्त श्रीमच्चन्द्रशेखरेन्द्र सरस्वती संयमीन्द्राणाम् अधिष्ठाने सिंहासनाभिषिक्त श्रीमज्जयेन्द्र सरस्वती संयमीन्द्राणाम् अन्तेवासिवर्य श्रीमच्छङ्करविजयेन्द्र सरस्वती श्रीपादानां च चरणनलिनयोः सप्रश्रयं साञ्जलिबन्धं च नमस्कुर्मः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. So Ananda and Savita, in the morning Vishnu Sahasranamam class, I went into a bit of depth as far as Nyasa is concerned. I don't think both of you need that level of input from basics because you already know quite a bit. There are a few things that I just want to lay the basis for Nyasa and then quickly go back to Vishnu Sahasranamam with meaning. So one important saying is yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayah. Yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayah. What it means is wherever the mind goes, there samadhi follows. Samadhi to many people, common man, could be a dead body, or people try sannyasis taking samadhi and all that. Samadhi in the ordinary sense means you have developed the capability to bring samam or equilibrium in your life when you are alive. And the entire game of whatever we do, puja, archana, homa, nyasa, these are all tools and techniques that ultimately is able to give humans the ability to see everything in equilibrium. In the sense, if you take anything in life, you don't have just everything sweet, you have sour, you have spice. You don't have always happiness and joy, you have grief and sorrow. You have hot, you have cold, you have tall, you have short, you have fat, you have thin. You have gender, again, there are two genders. There is a reason for with which the God has created a system like this. So, in short, if we have to revert on what it means to human beings, it means is develop all the tools and techniques by which you are able to see life in a very equilibrium state, which means don't get too depressed when you are in sorrow and grief. Don't get too hyper excited when you are successful and you get what you want. You try to maintain a sama samam in both these situations, which is essential. And needless to say, the key to achieving that is something called our mind. So that is why it says, wherever the mind goes, samadhi follows. So if you let your mind dictate terms to you, if your mind control you, you are never going to achieve that equilibrium. You will always be either angry or depressed or sad or happy in one of the state. The fundamental requirement to be in that calm, stable state will always elude you. And if you are learning things like Sahasranamam or Vedam or anything, I've always told you that it is important that we have both our physical and mental state to be on us in a state of equilibrium to the extent possible. So, nyasa per se, if you take the literal meaning of the word, it's the root word is to place or to deposit, and uh, it is a process by which you have a very systemic ritual and meditative practices that are followed in Sanatana Dharma. So, nyasa, the sequence is important. The the ability to close your eyes and meditate in the sense doesn't mean deep meditation all the time. Meditate also means to keep your focus on or to bring your focus in, and when you're doing the nyasa. So it is a very conscious act of placing a divine energies, mantra syllables, like it could be a pranava om, or it could be a bijakshara, it could be a mula mantra, or it could be a full name of the devata, by which the presence of deities or sacred principles are placed, installed in specific parts of the body. That is what nyasa is all about. So, what are the key elements to achieve a good nyasa? The key elements are touch, sparsha, which I have always explained to you. Touch is important. So, when you do things, wearing a winter jacket, and you say, I'm doing nyasa here and there, or it really doesn't have any impact or effect. The effect is the sparsha into the particular point in your body that is touched by your own hand. That sparsha is important. Second is the intention. What is the purpose of touching that part of the body? It is not to excite that part of the body. It is to invoke and install that deity, that energy force at that point. And for each point, the devatas or the mantras are normally assigned and fixed, that we don't have the luxury to change. All we have to do is just to learn that and follow that particular script that is given to us and execute it in a very professional and perfect manner. That's all that we have to do. So the intent of touching the parts of the body is to purify, is to install the deity or the god in those places with the power of the mantra. And in all of this, it's important that you have breath control and you're able to bring your breath to a stable state. You can't just do puffing and huffing and do nyasa. So the sparsha, touch, intention, mantra, and breath. Four things are very, very important in doing nyasa. The other objective of doing nyasa is also in a very oblique way to tell people. He dropped off. Let's give him a minute. Oh, he's back. Anand, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Sorry, something.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. So the other part is also we are taught about our body, the sthula sharira, many things as we grow up. So there's a lot of learning that is in our head, which is implanted or given to us through various people at different points of time. This is a stage at which you need to develop that matured mind to say the body parts are not supposed to be considered with a sense of profanity or in a very negative or derogatory way. Rather, the body should be considered as a living temple. Consider your body as a temple, and so you're housing these gods in the temple, which is a perfectly sacred act, a divine act, meant for a divine purpose. The whole divinity aspect is important in Nyasa. So if somebody says, are these theories that you're cooking yourself, is there any pramanam or any evidence of these things in our text? You will find this in our Vedic text, Tantric text, Agamic text, and every ritual practice that we talk in Vedic practices. So whether you talk Gayatri Japa, again, you're supposed to do with Nyasa. But I can tell you 98% of the people, after the Upanayam is done, they are giving Gayatri Upadesh. Nobody has been taught Nyasa at all. They just go straight to the Japa. They do Pranayama, they do the very short Rishyadi Nyasa, and then they go straight to the Gayatri Japa. Whereas you're supposed to do Karanyasa, Anganyasa, Dhyanam, Dhyana Shlokam for Gayatri Mata, and do everything that normally we do for other shlokas or mantras. So you will find this in all the texts like Shaiva text or Agama text or Shakta Tantras and every Puja Vidhi manual that you will look for in olden days. So the concept again to summarize is body is the first and most intimate temple. Our body is the first and the most intimate temple, and Nyasa is the act of consecrating the temple. You install the deities in different parts of the body and you consecrate that in a very divine form. In a very divine form. Now, when you say Devata, it is not that every Devata is a soft Devata with a soft energy. There are Ugra Devatas as well. So if you carefully see the mantras with all these Nyasas, you will not find very Ugras being utilized anywhere. So Nyasa is definitely performed before any puja or homa or japa or dhyana or any kind of significant sadhana to maintain or consecrate that body as a temple and to maintain the stability or sama in whatever we are trying to do. Because when you chant Vishnu Sahasranamam or Lalita Sahasranamam, I say that don't look at it as words or mantras or texts. These are in physics very well-defined simple harmonics in a certain sequence that has been defined for us and handed over to us. Our job is to just deliver those simple harmonics the way it was conceived and the way it was given to us for certain objectives. So you don't have the luxury of changing the meter or changing the words or the aksharas, because each akshara has got its own natural frequencies, and the combination of all that stuff is going to result in that harmonic, which is essential for what you're trying to do. So again, different types of nyasas are there. The shortest one is Akara Anga Nyasa, Rishyadi Nyasa, and Dhyana Shlokam. Slightly bigger one, if you do in Vedam, we do Laghu Nyasa. Even bigger than that is Mahanyasa. In the context of Sri Vidya Upasana, you have something called Matruka Nyasa, which is even more powerful because it utilizes all the Matruka Aksharas as a preempt for every Nyasa positions. And in Sri Vidya Upasana, the Nyasa is taken to the utmost level of complexity that one can think of. Only if you go through the learnings through a proper guru, you will understand the power and the need for those Nyasas and the sadhana that you do throughout the day at various times. It's not like you could get up in the morning and do it, or you go to do the sadhana and then go to bed. So these are very serious and very powerful inputs that are made available to mortal humans like us. Hence, it is important that you delve more deeper into Nyasa itself as a topic. And the cosmic forces are being brought into the body for the simple reason that the body is to be seen as a microcosm or a pinda. Microcosm, and it reflects the macrocosm, the Brahmanda. If you need more details, you can go to the Mundaka Upanishad classes that I have taught for almost a year and a half, where I've gone to the depth of many things. The process of creation of Brahmanda is exactly the process through which we are created. There is no difference. So the microcosm, macrocosm concept is also from the tuning aspect. So when you tune your body with various vibrations and energies, it resonates with the actual energy frequency that is available in the Brahmanda. And when that resonance happens, you get elevated level of enlightenment and peace and bliss and happiness that you're in search for, because that resonating is of a key aspect than just chanting or reading a PDF. You can say, I can read a PDF at a fast speed, so I know how to chant Lalita Sahasranama, or I know how to chant Vishnu Sahasranama. If you're looking at it only as text that you can chant, I don't think you're achieving the full power, the full capability of that. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, there is something, a doctrine is there, which I don't know how many of you are aware of. It is called the Panchakosha theory. So one way of looking at our body is the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira. The other way of looking at it is that there are 5 koshas, which are, in English, they call it as sheaths, Sheaths. And these sheaths are you familiar with this Panchakosha terminology? Chitra and Anand? No, right? Okay, so they are Pranamaya Kosha. First one is Annamaya Kosha. Then it is a Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha is the vital energy layer. Then Annamaya Kosha is the layer in which you have the actual food, and that gets distributed through throughout your body. The third layer is called Manomaya Kosha, which is the mental layer. Fourth layer is Vijnanamaya Kosha. So the amount of knowledge and education that you get, and your ability to develop your analytical skills and thinking skills, and you evolve that intellectual capability which only humans have, not the other living beings have, only humans have. That is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And finally is Anandamaya Kosha. When you have all these sheets and layers in tune, in sync, is when you can even dream of or entering or experiencing the Anandamaya Kosha. And unless you experience the Anandamaya Kosha, you are not talking of any remotely any talk of moksha. So these are important things that you need to know. It's your choice. You want to get deeper into it, understand and practice it, or you can say, okay, not in this janma, maybe next janma. So that is your choice. So in summary, if one line, if this has to be summarized, it is called Yatha Dehe Tatha Brahmande. Okay, as in the body, so in the cosmos. So that is a very powerful statement. And in Tantric and Agmic development, there are texts that I can reel off so that it is there on YouTube for you to rewind and replay. There are Kularnava Tantra. It's one of the most authoritative texts in Sri Vidya Upasana, in Kaula texts. Mahanirvana Tantra. So it is a source in which they have dedicated a lot of time and effort on Shadanga Nyasa, Matraka Nyasa, and Pitha Nyasa. Yoga Pitha Nyasa is again very important concept, where the body itself is prepared as a Pitha before you start consecrating these deities in your body. Then Tantrasara, Sharada Tilaka Tantra. These are text Pancharatra Samhitas, which is Jayakhya, Ahirbudniya, and Paushkara. These are texts that are available which talks about Nyasa. And again, Shaiva and Vaishnava practices are slightly different, but the end goal is the same. Devi Bhagavata Purana. This is something that all of you would have heard a lot. So it teaches you a lot of methods for Nyasa, for Devi worship. Parashurama Kalpa Sutra is one of the most powerful texts for Sri Vidya Upasakas, where it talks about the Shoda Nyasa, the sixfold Nyasa. So Antarmatruka, Bahirmatruka, there are many layers and layers of Nyasa concepts. So sky is the limit if you're really seriously interested in learning all those things. So the doctrine is of Deha and Devata, body as deity. That is the fundamental principle. Don't look at your body as a piece of flesh and bones, which is what we've been taught all our life. Start looking at it as a temple in which you can consecrate these deities and purify your body. You may want to lower your belief in a sanitizer or a water that comes from a tap, from municipal water, on the level of purification it can do compared to what a mantra can do for you. So you need to start believing these principles, because they are all not written by somebody with an agenda. These are texts that are gifted to us free of cost, without any subscription or fees. You don't pay anything in dollars. This knowledge base is available to you, and there are many people, 100 times, 1,000 times more knowledgeable than me who are out there trying to distribute this knowledge, and it is for you to take it. So we talked about the kosha, then the power of the mantra, the Shakti, and the Nada Bindu continuum is something that you want to do research a little bit and educate yourself. If not, wait for my podcast where I'll be explaining a lot of these things in a simple half an hour podcast anytime soon. So to summarize, Nyasa requires sparsha, touch, the mantra, which could be a pranava mantra, Om, or it could be a bijakshara mantra, or it could be a mula mantra, or it could be a name of the devata, depending on the context, what you're learning and what you're practicing. Then bhavana, which is the intention or the visualization, the mental image of the deity that you're invoking at that particular spot, or the principle, or the quality it is meant to be consecrated there. That is the cognitive vehicle. That very essential in you're doing nyasa. Prana, the breath control, is another important element when you're doing the nyasa. So while you're doing the mantra and the touch, if you can generate that breath control, it will develop the sense of energy that is required. A lot of these acupuncture or acupressure principles are also developed from these basic principles that are available in our text. Last but not the least, the sequence is very important. So you can't just do random here. I put my hand here, then I put my hand here, etc. There are sequences that are being prescribed for you to achieve the desired benefits, especially if you are going down the path of spiritual enlightenment. So that sequence is something that you need to maintain. So the convergence of touch, mantra, intention, and breath in a single moment is what distinguishes nyasa from a mere ritual gesture. It is not a gesture that you're talking about, okay, I'm doing some motions here and there. Just like mudras are very powerful, nyasas are very, very powerful concepts. The major forms are Rishyadi Nyasa, which I have explained, where you talk about the Rishi, Chandas, and Devata at the beginning of any mantra or this thing. Then you have Karanyasa, which is the 6 parts of the body, 6 parts of the hand, Angushtabhyam, Tarjanibhyam, Madhyamabhyam, Anamikabhyam, Kanishtikabhyam, Karadalakara Prashtabhyam. Then you have the Sashta Anga Nyasa, which is also called as Shadanga Nyasa. These are the same thing but different names using Sanskrit grammar. Anganyasas are the shortest are Hridaya, which is the heart, which is again, if you see the ribs, where the ribs make a U-turn, there is a soft spot here, the sternum. That is where the heart is. So heart, Shiras is the top of the head. Then Shikha is where your Kudumi or your Choti starts at the back of your head. Then Kavacha, which is shoulder, both shoulders like this, Kavachaya Hum. Then Netratrayaya Vaushad, Netram, Trinetram, three eyes. And then the last one is Astra. This is my left hand palm. I hit it with the right hand 2 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 3 times. Astraya Phat. Finally, you do a Digbandhanam like this. I go from the front of my head on top of the forehead, go over my right shoulder to the back and come all the way to the front. This is called Digbandhanam, which you're putting a shield of protection around you so that you don't get distracted in completing your sankalpa, whatever you start with, you're setting out to do. So, short nyasa, different forms, and then Mahanyasa, Lagunyasa, Matruka Nyasa, Yoga Pitha Nyasa. There are many different types of nyasas that you can learn. So it's a very interesting topic that I just wanted to set the base before going forward. So I hope it is useful. If you feel that it's too much of detail that you're not interested, you can let me know. Specifically in those classes, I will skip all the details. So let us get back to Vishnu Sahasranamam. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Om. We completed up to Shadanga Nyasa, including the alternative option, which in the Sanskrit PDF, it is page 5 of 20. So we'll start from Dhyanam. So after the Nyasam, you're supposed to do Dhyanam. Dhyanam is the actual visualization of the god. And imagining the form of the Lord that you're going to worship, and chanting the Dhyana shloka, by which you are actually catching the attention of the Lord whom you're going to praise or whom you're going to worship. It could be Devi, it could be Lord Vishnu, it could be Shiva, or it could be anybody, any Lord. You need to do the Dhyanam. So here, Atha means the beginning. So don't say Atha Dhyanam. You can just say Dhyanam. Iti means the end of the section. So Atha Nyasa means beginning of the Nyasa. Atha Karanyasa is beginning of Karanyasam. Iti Karanyasa means the end of the section. So you just say Dhyanam. Then the actual Dhyana Shlokam starts. Kshiro Danvat Pradeshe Shuchimani Velasat Saikate Mauttikanam. Kshiro Danvat Pradeshe Shuchimani Vilasat Saikate Mauttikanam. So the grouping is very important. If you capture the grouping, you can chant at a faster speed, slower speed, and you will still not lose the clarity of the akshara. For example, Kshiro, the akshara Ksha has to be chanted properly. KSH, Kshiro, Kshiro, Danvat, Da Damayanti Da, Danvat, Pradeshe, She is Shambhosha, Shuchimani, Shu, hard, Chi is soft. So you must be able to roll your tongue quickly from a hard akshara to a soft akshara. Shuchimani, Mani again, Ni is hard. Shuchimani, Velasat Saikate Mauktika Nam. The tune is not that important. If you get the tune, all right, good. If you're not, focus on chanting it properly with good akshara shuddhi and matra shuddhi. The meter is important. Mala klipta sanastas sphatika nibhair mautikair manditangaha. Mala klipta sanasta sphatika mani nibhair mautikair manditangaha. That is the grouping. If you have PDF, maybe you are familiar with some PDF tools with which you can do annotation on the PDF itself, mark lines or apostrophe or something which you can do marking for getting the grouping, or you can take printout and mark it on the hard copy with the pen. So this is the first shloka. The second part is Shubhrairabhrairadabhrai Shubhrairabhrairadabhrairu. First word. Parivirachitair Mukta Piyusha Varshaihi. Now, if you see there is no visarga at the end, I will explain it. If you are able to understand the Sanskrit grammar, good. Otherwise, just follow what I am saying. Technically, if you chant the whole shloka, you have to chant it together. Shubhrairabhrairadabhrairu parivicharitai mukta piyusha varshairanandina. You combine the next line also and chant. In which case, the piyusha varshaihi, visarga, will get substituted by ir. And the next letter or the word is anandi naf puniyadiri. So ir plus a becomes ra. So you see the script and read it if you're reading it together. For any reason, if you're going to stop after Mukta Piyusha Varshai, add a visarga there. Mukta Piyusha Varshaihi. And the next line you start as Anandi, not Ranandi. Anandi naf puniyadari nalinagada shankha panir mukundaha. So once again, Anandi naf puniyadari nalinagada shankha panir mukundaha. Are you able to follow what I'm saying? You all can unmute your video and I can see you instead of looking at SAL in some display profiles. It's easy to communicate. So is the explanation helping or is it making you more confused? You want me to slow down? I can slow down.
Explanation is helping.
Okay. How about you,
Thank you.
Chitra?
It's fine. You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, otherwise feel free to stop. There's no hurry that I have to finish certain number of shlokas in a particular class. We can go at the pace at which everybody is comfortable. So let us get to the meaning of this particular shloka, right? So how many of you practice Nyasa? You can use your emojicon or emoticon on the screen to say yes. Anand, I thought you will say yes, I do it.
And daily பண்றதுல நான் இது பண்ணும்போது பிரதோஷம் பண்ணும்போது மட்டும்.
Okay. Okay.
Still trying to do that.
Good. So the meaning of Kshirodhanvat Pradesha, the whole shloka, is in the region of the ocean of milk. In the region of the ocean of milk, seated on a garland of pure gems and pearls. Seated on a garland of pure gems and pearls, adorned with pearls resembling crystal gems. Adorned with pearls resembling crystal gems, with white clouds, with rains of free nectar. Rains of free nectar, delighting us. May the lotus and mace of the holy mountains, holding a conch, be our joy. That is the literal meaning of the shloka that I just taught, shloka number 1. Going to shloka number 2. भूपादौ यस्य नाभिर्वियदसुरनिलश्चन्द्रसूर्यौ च नेत्रे. Bhuhu padau will become bhuh padau yasya nabhir viyada sura nilaschandra suryau cha netre karnavashash shirodyaur mukhamapi dahano yasya vasteyamabdhihi. Karnavashaha will become karnavashash. Shiro dyaur mukhamapi. The kha is hard, second ka. Dahano yasya vasteya mabdhihi. Ib is Balaraman bowed half. And apply that rule again of half syllable to go with the previous full syllable. That will release you to chant the Mahaprana or the hard consonant in a much easier way if you split it. So, Vasteya Mab Dhihi. So, the meaning of this shloka is, I bow before that God, Lord Vishnu, who is the Lord of the 3 worlds. What are the 3 worlds? Can anybody respond? Make an attempt even if it is a wrong answer. You're saying something, Chitra? Correct. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. These are the 3 lokas, 3 worlds. So, the Lord of the 3 worlds, the one who has earth as his feet. The earth has his feet, who has air as his soul, who has sky as his belly, who has moon and sun as eyes, Suryau cha netre, who has the 4 directions as ears, who has the land of gods as head, who has fire as his mouth, who has sea as his stomach, and in whose belly play and enjoy gods, men, birds, animals, serpents, Gandharvas, and even Asuras. So all living beings play and enjoy on his belly. That is what the meaning of that shloka is. The next shloka Antastham yasya vishvam sura nara khaga gobhogi gandharva daityaihi. Gandharva dai is dirgha, yai is dirgha. Antastham yasya vishvam sura nara khaga gobhogi gandharva daityaihi. Chitram ram ramyate tam tribhuvana vapusham Vishnumesham namami. Chitram ram ramyate tam tribhuvana vapusham. So you start splitting that word. Tribhuvana vapusham Vishnu Mesham namami. Me at the end is Hrasvam. So you have to apply a break. Namami. So antastham yasya vishvam suranarakhagago bhogi gandharva daityaihi. Chitram ram ramyate tam tribhuvana vapusham Vishnumesham namami. So far so good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Am I going too fast or too slow?
Perfect.
Okay, great. So the next word is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padma Nabham Suresham. Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam. Got it? The next one is Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Hridhyana Gamyam. I have learnt it that way, so I chanted it that way. In the parenthesis, Yogi Hridhyana Gamyam. There is an alternative version available in case you want to accept it, which says Yogi Bhirdhyana Gamyam. I have not heard it as popular as Yogi Hridhyana Gamyam. So Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Hridhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. That is shloka number 3. The meaning again is I bow before you, God Vishnu, who is the personification of peace, who sleeps on his folded arms, who has a lotus on his belly, who is the God of gods, and who is the basis of earth, who is like the sky, who is the color of the cloud, who has beautiful limbs, who is also the consort of Lakshmi, a God who has lotus-like eyes, who is seen by saints through thought, just by mere thought, who kills all worries and fears, and who is the Lord of all the worlds. I have also talked about how many lokas are there in one of the classes. If you know it, good. Otherwise, take it as a homework and try to do some research. So Lord Vishnu is seen as the Lord of the worlds. The next slokam is Namah samasta bhutanamādibhūtāya bhūbhrite. Namah samasta bhutanamādibhūtāya bhūbhrite. Huh?
Megasham. அது விட்டுட்டேன்.
Oh, did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Meghashyamam pītakausheyavasam Srivatsangam Kautsubhodbhasitangam. So Megha, Gha is hard, Gha. Megha Shyamam. Again, I've told in many classes, don't add a letter of your own. It is not Meghash Shyamam. It is Megha Shyamam. Megha Shyamam Pita Kausheyavasam. Pita Kausheyavasam. Srivatsankam. Srivatsankam. Kaustubhodh. Kaustubhodh. Bodh வந்து தமயந்தி bodh. Bhasitangam. Bhasitangam. Punyopetam. Pundarikayataksham. Vishnum vande. Sarvalokaikanātham. Vishnum vande. Sarvalokaikanātham. That completes shloka number 4. So again, you keep repeatedly, as I said in the first class, there are certain things that you keep praising the Lord repeatedly. One such thing is, again, I bow before you, Lord Vishnu, who is the Lord of all the universe, who is black like a cloud, who wears yellow silks, and who has Srivatsa on him. Now, I don't think any one of you is a Vaishnava. So, let me put that as a homework for you. Find out what is Srivatsa. That will be a good exercise. So, the Lord who has Srivatsa on him, whose limbs shine because of Kaustubha. So, try to find out what is Kaustubha. 2 words, Srivasta and Kaustubha. If you're unable to find it, maybe I'll share it in the next class. Who has eyes like open lotus. Again, it is a repetitive thing from the previous shloka also. And who is surrounded by the blessed always. And who is surrounded by the blessed always. The next shloka is Namah samasta bhutanamādi bhūtāya bhūbhrite. You see a lot of bhu, which is hard. That should come from your nabhi. Samasta bhutanam adi bhūtāya bhūbhrite. So regardless of which script you're using and how the script is typeset, do not split it into bhutanam adi bhūtāya bhūbhrite. You better combine im and a as ma and chant it in one go. Namah samasta bhutana madi bhutaya bhubhrite aneka rupa rupaya Vishnave prabhavishnave aneka rupa rupaya. The ru is dirgham. Invariably you are used to chanting it as short of dirgham. So make sure that consciously you put effort to give 2 matra for ru. Aneka rupa rupaya Vishnave prabhavishnave. Right? So the meaning of this is, again, obeisance to Lord Vishnu. Here you're saying he is the origin of all beings. The origin. He is the start. there is nobody before him. He is also the sustainer of the earth. So if you talk of the Trinity, creator, sustainer, and destroyer. So Lord Vishnu is considered as the sustainer of the earth, the form of many forms, the originator. So I won't go into the explanation into the detail of that particular part because it will get too complex. But what will suffice for all of you to know is Parvati was created from Shiva, by Shiva himself. Together they created Vishnu, Lakshmi, and Brahma, Saraswati. So ultimately it is all 6 of them is Shiva himself in different forms. Now don't get into the fight of you say Shiva is the originator, Shiva is everything, and now you're saying in the Sahasranamam Vishnu is everything. We'll keep those kind of discussions slightly outside the scope of this class. But if you're interested, maybe we can have a separate discussion. But the meaning of the shloka is obeisance to Vishnu, the origin of all beings, the sustainer of the earth, the form of many forms, and the originator. The next shloka number 6. Here again, the word in parentheses is more popular. That is what I have learned. You can ignore the word which is outside the parentheses. So, Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam. Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastram Sarasi Ruhekshanam. Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastram Sarasi Ruhekshanam. Sahara Vakshasthala. Sahara Vakshaha will become Sahara Vakshasthala. Tha hard. Shobhi Kaustubham Namami Vishnum Shirasa Chaturbhujam. Sahara Vakshasthala Shobhi Kaustubham Namami Vishnum Shirasa Chaturbhujam. This is shloka number 6. The meaning of this shloka is, again, I bow before God Vishnu, who has 4 arms. He has 4 arms, who has a conch and wheel, chakram, in his hands, who wears a crown and ear globes, who wears yellow silks, again, who has lotus-like eyes, who shines because of the Kaustubha gem worn on his garlanded chest. There is a gem, Kaustubha gem, that is worn on his garlanded chest. Shloka number 7. Chayayam parijatasya hema simhasanopari. Cha is second cha. Chayayam parijatasya. There are a lot of dirgha akshara here, so don't rush through it. Give justice to the dirgha matra. Hema simhasanopari. Sim is becoming Anunasika here because of the akshara following the Anuswara, which is Ha. Some people have said from childhood we have learned it as Simhasanopari. I'm going to say Simhasana. That is your choice. So, Chayayam Parijatasya Hema Simhasanopari Asinamabdushyama Mayatakshamalankritam. Asina Mambuda Shyama Mayataksha Malankritam. Now you're seeing Malankritam, etc. because Mayataksham Alankritam. Im and becomes Ma. So as I always teach phonetically, I'm not trying to be a technically grammar expert here for this class. You chant it the way phonetically it is easy for you. Asinamambudashyama Mayatakshamalankritam. Right? Chandrananam chaturbahum Srivatsankidavakshasam. Chandrananam chaturbahum Srivatsankidavakshasam. Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye. Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye. This completes shloka number 7. The meaning of this shloka is, I seek refuge in Lord Krishna. I seek refuge in Lord Krishna, who is with Rukmini and Satyabhama. Lord Vishnu is with Rukmini and Satyabhama. The Lord who sits on a golden throne in the shade of Parijata tree. Again, if you're familiar with Parijata tree, good. If not, try to find out the significance of Parijata tree. Who is the color of the black cloud, who has long, broad eyes, who has a face like a moon, and who has 4 hands or arms, and again, who has a chest that is adorned by Srivatsa. So, previous shloka we talked about Kaustubha. In this shloka we are talking about Srivatsa. So, systematically you are praising or describing the Lord, the various attributes of the Lord, as we had explained in the introductory class. Vishnu Sahasranamam is defining various attributes of the Lord, various principles, and the various divine forms as well. So it's a complex structure of namams, each with a specific intended purpose. So my recommendation is we'll stop here. It would be a good idea to go and revise the YouTube videos of the first to the fourth. Today is the 4th or 5th class. It will be a good idea to just see everything in one stroke, one continuous session, if you can. That way you will get the context of what you have learned so far before we go deeper and deeper into the remaining namas. Does it make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So any questions so far? Any suggestion? If you want me to slow down, if you want me to change course, please feel free to post it in the group. I will avoid a lot of detailed explanations if it is not of interest or relevance to you. Batch to batch, it can be different. And if only 1 or 2 people are interested, I can tell them offline also. I don't have to take the entire class this time. Okay, wa? So thank you and see you in the next class.
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you.
Bye-bye.